Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, where I like an articulate carve and an overly optimistic ollie. Today I'm talking about a board that does both very well, the Jones Howler. The best way to describe this board I see is take the Aviator 2.0 and give it a more tapered directional shape, an easier flex between the feet with a stiffer flex on the tip and tail, modified spoon nose and tail, and this is a board that isn't for everybody, but if you just love to carve and get air and you want an easy board to do it that has a ton of camber but yet still doesn't feel that technical and catchy, this could work for you. And I rode this in a wide variety of conditions, everything from some firm but somewhat fair snow to some good groomers to a little bit of uneven, wet, messy snow to even a few good powder turns. And I rode it primarily with my Union Force and Nitro Team TLSs. And by the way, this is an honest, objective review from an average rider's perspective for you, the consumer. Jones has nothing to do with this review. I'm sending this board back to them when I'm done, and I can do that thanks to you, good readers, for all your support. And our sponsor, Blauer Board Shop. They've been selling snowboards forever. They have a large online presence, and they're doing a great job competing against the bigger online stores out there. So if you want to support honest, objective content, buy through our links to Blauer Board Shop. It's greatly appreciated. When it comes to sizing, this 58 felt just right. And I like a board that I can easily control in all conditions. If I wanted more speed, more stability, more carving power, I could go up one size, but I really wouldn't want to go down from this with my specs. Now, when it comes to shape, this is tapered and directional. You have a little bit bigger nose than tail, but there's a lot of tail here. There's 8 millimeters of taper, and you're looking at 2 centimeters back on side cut. But if you're talking about setback on board, at the reference stance you see here with full-size discs, you're looking at 2 inches back from center of board at a 22-inch stance width. Now, if you choose to ride this in powder and set it all the way back, or you just like a more directional feel, you can get 3.125 inches back from center of board at about a 22.75 inch stance width. That's pretty wide. Most people won't do that. They might be up here. So you can see you're back, but you're not super far back. And then you look at this camber. I can get all my fingers underneath the middle part of this board. There is so much camber here. Then it leads into maybe a touch of early rise into spoon nose. And it's a new, different kind of spoon tech or 3D tech. Most of the spoon is happening up here, and then it doesn't bleed into the middle of the board. So you can nose press and tail butter much easier than you used to, because there's more of a flat section in the middle here and a more aggressive lift on the sides. And while this is a lot more technical and catchy than many hybrid camber boards, it still didn't feel anywhere near as gnarly as full camber. So I think a lot of people will appreciate its stability and consistency in all conditions while not being too technical, too catchy. You can get off your game and skid a turn okay. And when it comes to edge hold, there's a very similar mellow disruption to the side cut that grips very well. This is a very competent hard snow board, and I didn't feel any of that washiness that you often get with the 3D tech. It doesn't seem to come down into the edges, and in hard snow, it doesn't want to let go near the tip and tail, so that's good. Okay, let's talk Howler Flex. It's very interesting. They say medium stiff, but look at this flex in the middle. This area right here really has an easy flex to it. But then you get down in the tail, it's pretty stiff. It's on the stiff side of medium stiff. And then the nose is a little softer, but it's not like this middle area here. Then when you add all this camber and this flex personality, you get a very poppy, lively board, and this just launches off things. It's got so much pop. It's not as easy to butter as you think with the softer flex in between the feet because of that stiffer camber in the tip and tail, but it's more doable than you would think. When it comes to switch riding, this is no aviator, but it's very good for a tapered directional board. And when I was on reference stance, this rode switch pretty well. As far as getting jumps in the park, you can go big with this, and you can go small or medium. I even like this just launching off side hits, and the way this springs off of any jump, it enhances your jumping performance. It's just gonna make you look better than you are. And jibs, not ideal. There's a softer flex in the middle, so maybe it could work for some people, but most people won't want to go into the jib park and ruin their edges. I didn't get to ride this in pipe, but I think some would like this. Not really my type of board for a pipe board though. It will really boost out of the coping if you're that type of pipe rider. And while this poppy personality can buck and bounce a little bit in uneven snow, I think it's pretty manageable, and it's got good travel. So there's some good shock absorbers here on this board. So that bucky, bouncy nature is a little more predictable, and it's not a bad all-day ride. Now, when it comes to turning, this initiated a turn pretty quick, not super quick, but pretty quick. And when I got this on edge, this pretty balanced side cut turned very well, making all kinds of turns. It liked that kind of medium radius turn a lot, but it could make some down the line turns pretty well too without the side cut fighting you, and across the groomer carves as well. Now, getting into carving, there is so much camber here, and there is such an amazing spring out of the turn. Then on top of that, the flex is softer in the middle, so it's easier to engage torsionally. And if you're somebody who really likes to play around with twisting the board and engaging your feet differently on a carve, this could be really fun. I loved how this springed out of a turn, as long as I didn't weight it too hard on the front foot. I found that center weighted to back foot weighted turns is where this board really shines. It wasn't terribly washy on the front foot, but what a satisfying pop and spring out of the turn. I really enjoyed it. So when it comes to going straight and fast, the Jones Howler maintains its composure really well on short to medium straight lines. However, it's not ideal though for really long sustained straight lines, but I've tried a lot worse out there. When it comes to base glide, the base is very good. It's clear, and with clear PTEX and a good PTEX gun, you can repair this base and it'll still look very good. But I do miss the old all black bases on the Jones boards. And when it comes to POW float, this isn't bad. The turning experience with the spoon nose and tail is pretty fun, but there are much better boards in Jones's line if powder is important to you. If you like a more centered, cambered feel in powder, and you don't need a lot of early rise, you know how to plane and keep your speed, and you like to launch off things and have some landing gear, this worked okay for me. I was surprised. It was better than I thought it would be, but I mean, if it's a powder day, I'd rather be on the Stratos. I'd rather be on the Flagship, the Mind Expander, so many other boards than this, but it's not bad. And overall, I think this board is really niche, but for those of you who love the Aviator, but always wanted it in a more tapered directional shape, you've got the Howler. And this just pops so well on an ollie, carves super well, and really does air well. If you're into that, then this might be a great addition to your quiver and could be a great daily driver. There you have it.